From the very first moment, he felt untouchable. The man walked through the polished glass doors of a five-star hotel with his mistress clinging to his arm, her laughter echoing like champagne bubbles in the marble lobby. Everything about him screamed power, his tailored suit, the expensive watch glinting under the chandelier, the smugness in his smile as he whispered promises into another woman's ear. For him, this was just another night of indulgence, another secret he thought would never surface. But within moments, his entire world would collapse in the most unexpected way, because the person he had betrayed the most was already inside this very hotel, not as a guest, not as a victim, but as the new owner who would rewrite the destiny of everyone involved. Backhand index pointing right. If this shocking twist already has your heart racing, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves emotional stories, and subscribe to Kindness Corner Story for more life-changing tales that touch the soul. And let me know in the comments if you believe betrayal always comes back to haunt the betrayer. The man's name was Richard. To anyone on the outside, he was a picture of success, a high-ranking executive, married to a devoted woman named Eliza, father to 2 children who adored him, and owner of a sprawling home in the city's most luxurious district. But behind the walls of that beautiful home, Richard had slowly grown restless. His wife Eliza had stood by him through the years of struggle, through late nights when he was just another ordinary employee trying to climb the ladder. She cooked for him, encouraged him, raised their children, and cheered for his every success. Yet, as soon as the spotlight began to shine on Richard, he turned away from the light of her love and sought the shadows of selfish desire. That was how he met Clara, a woman much younger than him, dazzling and bold, who fed his ego more than his heart. Eliza sensed the changes. She noticed the late nights, the way Richard avoided her gaze, the silence that replaced their once joyful conversations. She wasn't blind, but she wasn't confrontational either. Instead, she carried her pain in silence, praying, hoping that the man she loved would remember his vows. She never told anyone, not even her closest friends, because she still believed that loyalty had meaning, even if it was tested. What Richard never imagined was that Eliza, tired of being underestimated, was quietly building her own strength. While he spent money on luxury nights with his mistress, Eliza was investing her inheritance, her creativity, and her courage into something greater, and that something was about to become the very stage where Richard's mask would fall. The night at the five-star hotel seemed ordinary for Richard and Clara. They checked in with ease, walked across the lobby, and laughed under the glowing chandeliers, unaware that fate was arranging its cruelest surprise. Richard felt powerful, flaunting his secret, never realizing that just behind a conference room door, Eliza was finalizing the acquisition of this very hotel. For months, she had worked in silence, partnering with investors, negotiating terms, and finally signing papers that made her the proud owner of the chain. It was not revenge she sought, but independence, dignity, and proof to herself that she could rise beyond the pain of betrayal. When Richard and Clara strolled into the restaurant for dinner, he froze. There, standing before a group of managers, was Eliza, radiant in a navy dress, her hair tied elegantly, her eyes sharper than he had ever seen. She wasn't the woman begging for his attention anymore. She was the woman commanding the room, shaking hands with executives, smiling like someone who had finally remembered her worth. For a moment, time stopped. The wineglass nearly slipped from Richard's hand as he realized where he was. The hotel wasn't just another playground for his secrets. It was Eliza's empire now. Eliza turned, her eyes locking onto his. In that instant, years of silence, years of hurt, and years of endurance all collided. Richard's face drained of color. Clara shifted uncomfortably, realizing she was standing in the middle of something much bigger than herself. The mistress looked small, almost insignificant against the tidal wave of dignity radiating from Eliza. Richard wanted to disappear, to sink into the floor, but the walls of the Grand Hotel had no mercy. They echoed his shame in every polished surface, every gleaming chandelier, every silent stare from the staff who now took orders not from him, but from his wife. For Eliza, that moment wasn't about humiliation or public revenge. It was about closure. She didn't shout, she didn't cry, she didn't lower herself to his level. She simply smiled with grace, as if to say, I see you for what you are, and I am no longer bound by it. Richard felt the weight of his choices crush him in that silence. He saw the life he had taken for granted standing taller than ever, not because she wanted him back, but because she no longer needed him. That realization broke him more than any confrontation could. From that night onward, Richard's world unraveled. Clara vanished from his life, uninterested in a man stripped of power. His colleagues whispered behind his back. At home, his children grew distant, disappointed by the man they once admired. And Eliza? She rose higher. The hotel flourished under her leadership, becoming a beacon of warmth and excellence, a place where guests felt more than luxury, they felt the touch of a woman who had rebuilt herself from heartbreak into triumph. The story didn't end with revenge. It ended with renewal. Eliza taught everyone who heard her story that betrayal doesn't have to define you, it can refine you. You can walk through fire and come out shining brighter than before. And Richard? He became the quiet reminder that when you take loyalty for granted, when you betray the one who loved you most, life has a way of holding up a mirror so clear that you can no longer hide from yourself. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to Kindness Corner Story for more true-to-life tales that inspire and move souls. Speech balloon. And before you go, comment below, do you believe forgiveness means giving someone another chance, or simply freeing yourself from their betrayal?